Right, I've got something for you that's going to help you to improve your game faster than you've ever dreamt of before. And it doesn't actually cost the earth either. It's a swing aid that you would never ever think about, but these are going to help you to get better, faster. So come on, let's go do it. So one of the things that I tend to come across with a lot of golfers is they don't really improve that quickly, okay? Not so much through the fact of not knowing what they actually should be doing, it's just because they don't practice properly. And they always ask me, what swing aid should I use? You know, should I buy a swing training aid? And yes, some of those things are great, and used correctly, they do make a big difference to your game. But often the way that it needs to be done though is you need to make the improvements yourself. You need to force yourself to make the swing moves. And one of the things that, I mean, all right, yeah, we've got TrackMan here, I've got Flight Scope and all the other toys and gadgets, okay, but when we go to those things, what generally happens is there's one number that they tend to look at, or maybe two numbers maybe, okay? Swing speed, how fast did I hit it? And then the second one is how far did it go, all right? So they generally stand there, they might hit a shot, you know, with the club, they might you know, knock a shot and say, right, immediately, without even seeing the ball land, get to the point where they're, how far did that go? They're looking at a monitor before it's even landed, all right? So we know that's what generally happens. I've seen it. You know, we'll go along and we'll teach golfers, you know, we'll teach golfers and we'll say, right, just go along and just use your 7-iron or a pitching wedge or something like that and just go and practice with that. Within 2 or 3 shots, guess what's come out the bag? The driver, okay? The driver's the thing that's come out straight away because they just want to hit it far. And I get it, I understand it, we all want to do that. But you've got to go, if you're going to take lessons, say you're taking lessons with me online or you're in person with me, you've got to make sure that you practice face control, okay? And you've got to practice what you've got to be training to do, what we've asked you to do, okay? Even if it's just for 2 sessions. So the best training aid that I can actually offer you, okay, is and luckily these guys have given me some to try out. And I've used them though, I've used these for, God, donkey's years, ever since I was 14 years old in the back garden. And the best training aid you can ever have is in this bag here. And it's these foam golf balls, okay? Just using foam golf balls is gonna be the best training aid that you can ever get. And these are from Rypstick. So shout out to those guys. But I would often, actually sometimes when I have lessons, I will use these and we'll hit them on the range and I will actually make people earn the right to hit a proper golf ball. All right, what do I mean by that? If I'm hitting a foam golf ball instead of a real ball, okay, I'll put a few out here. I mean, this is quite handy. They come in a bag as well. I mean, these things, I think, they don't cost a fortune. They're no more than £20, I don't think. So, but these things here, I'm going to hit these, okay, and when I'm hitting a foam golf ball, especially if it was outside, because there's no expectations of distance, okay? So this makes me focus more about what it is that I'm trying to achieve, okay, in my golf swing or my golf movements, because there's no expectations, because there won't be any distance, okay? There won't be any results as such. Now, these golf balls are pretty good. They will actually bend and move because they have dimple patterns on them and so on and so forth. And they'll probably fly 50, 80 yards maybe, dependent on what you're hitting. So you can hit these in your back garden if you've got a big enough back garden, or in a field. You're not going to hurt anybody. We use these quite a lot with juniors when I'm teaching the juniors. But it's really important you work on it. So say you're working on something, I don't know, let's say it's up to under. Okay, so I'm going to swing my club up and go under. Because there's no expectations, and I'm hitting into a net as well, which is even better. There's no expectations on what I'm going to do with the ball. It's not. Because in my head, my brain's already worked out, this isn't going to go very far. I don't need to look at it. I need to concentrate more on what I'm doing. So it helps you to set the task at hand, all right? So it's really, really important. So I'm going to say, I'm going to go up to under. It's just going to enable me to swing club up and under because I've got no preconceived idea on what's going to happen here, all right? So it's really, really cool that you do this and practicing with foam balls. But one tip for you though, you need to make sure you find some good ones that actually last because, whoops. So you've got to go and find yourself some good ones that actually last. And these Rypstick ones are pretty good. They have this cheeky little line on them as well. There's like arrow. So you can actually use that to help line up towards your target if you wanted to. They will perform a little bit like a golf ball. You'll still get spin and turn on the ball in the air. And you can practice that as well, which is great. So you can practice you know, turning the club and so on and so forth. But whatever you're working on, but again, back to up to under, whatever you're working on, you'll have more thought to that than opposed to trying to swing the golf club hard to try and hit the ball. I had somebody come the other week. Oh my gosh, they were just obsessed by how far they could hit the ball. Okay, I knew, all right, it was averaging 300 yards, but gosh, it was like, the dispersion rate was horrendous. Okay, so you've got to come back down to, and I said to him, I said, you've not worked on that swing move that we had you ask, because he has a tendency to move up into it, you know, just working, staying back and so on. He hadn't done. Okay, so the best piece of advice as a teaching professional that I can offer you is get yourself some foam balls. These things are going to change the way you practice, all right? They really do. They will change the way you practice for good. The beauty of it as well, they don't break anything. So you can stand here. I mean, there's a mirror behind this camera here. So I can stand here, I can practice that, and it don't hurt anything, okay? So it doesn't break anything at all. So you can practice these anywhere. And just practicing this, you know, just working on what you should be doing, it works an absolute treat. So practice with foam balls. Start off with that. And what I meant by earlier, I said I get my clients to earn the right to do that. Well, I'm going to get them to practice the feel. So say I'm working on left hip back as I hit the ball. I'm going to get them to just practice that movement, okay? Practice that feel. They're going to do it again and again. So just practice that feel. And then they're going to get the right to then, because they've actually done it a few swings to actually work on that stroke. I'm then going to get them to just then practice that movement with a real ball, and then they'll get real results. They'll see that they can get proper results from practicing with a foam ball first and then working their way up to a proper ball. Okay, really important. So if you have any questions about that, please drop them in the comments below. But yeah, it's a great way to practice. It's probably a necessary way to practice, I would say. I do this in the back garden all the time. Okay, I can hit them at the house. The wife probably goes nuts because I'm hitting the windows all the time because I'm aiming at them basically. But I know they're not going to break. Just don't forget that you don't put a real ball in there. Okay, keep it always foam balls or plastic balls or whatever. But yeah, just practice that as much as you can. But I do this a lot. I mean, my dog loves it as well. But just practice that motion or practice with foam balls takes away a lot of expectations for distance and makes you focus on the real things that need to be worked on. So practice with foam balls. That's my #1 recommendation if you want to improve your game faster. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope that helps you. I hope that gives you a bit of an insight on how to practice properly, and it should help you to improve your game a lot faster. If you're interested in Rypsticks, please go and visit their website. I'll put the details below in a link below. I'm not affiliated with them. They just happen to give me some. But yeah, go and practice with foam balls, plastic balls, whatever it is. If even better, into a net. So whole expectations taken away of ball going as far as you can possibly get it. Try and work then on technique, and you will improve faster than you've ever done before. Anyway, please remember to like, subscribe, and to share. Thank you to all my followers. It's been a massive growth just recently, and also thanks to the new ones that have come through from my interview with Mark Immelman the other week. That's been really great, and I'll catch you next time.